Battle through the firmament. Grand World. Chapter 359. As an opponent. L. Wuxiaoqi opened her mouth and looked at Lindao's back. She swallowed the words she was about to say. When she came with this guy, she didn't say a single word during the entire journey. Lindao's cold expression made her feel extremely oppressed. She always felt uncomfortable, although she wanted to test her own strength this time. However, Lindao had already set the two of them as his targets, so it was not convenient for her to go forward. She was afraid that she would make the other party unhappy. You'd better not make a move. This fellow has just come out of illusory spirit space. These two bastards from the Mercenary Alliance can give him a try. She seemed to have seen through Wuxiaoqi's inner thoughts. Ma Huyang said indifferently. He was also very curious about the extent of Lindao's strength. Wuxiaoqi pouted when she heard Ma Huyang's words, but she still responded. After all, the former's reputation was too great, and his deeds were circulated throughout the entire academy. Even those elders were full of admiration when they talked about Ma Huyang. Being locked on by Lindao's ki, Suxing and Shulia could only brace themselves and fight. After exchanging blows for a short while, Xiaoyan could already see the gap between the three of them. Even though the three of them had used up more or less some origin monic kiss, Lindao seemed to be much more relaxed than Suxing and Shulia. The Imperial Dragon Point blue spear in his hand was like a dragon's shadow leaping up and down, leaving after images behind. This caused the two of them to be exhausted from running around, and for a moment, they could only parry. How did you guys find this place? Previously, the situation was urgent and Xiaoyan did not have the time to ask. Now that he had calmed down, he looked at Wuxiaoqi who was beside him. Wuxiaoqi giggled when she heard him. A cunning look emerged in her intelligent eyes and she said, "I told Grandpa before." Although he said that he did not agree on the surface, he still cared about it in private. She gathered a group of elders to discuss how to deal with the heavenly beast and just happened to hear that the dark golden beast in Silver Moon Mountain had just given birth. Its strength had been greatly reduced, and the dark golden beast wasn't as aggressive as any ordinary heavenly beast. He told me that it just so happened that Lindao came here to obtain a drop of blood essence. I'll go with him. After saying that, Wuxiaoqi looked at Ma Huyang, who was not far away, and whispered to Xiaoyan. "Senior Lin is so serious. He didn't even speak to me on the way." Xiaoyan smiled when he heard that. It was really difficult for someone like Lindao to communicate with him. After hearing what Wuxiaoqi said, Xiaoyan felt a little conflicted. One of the 3 drops of blood essence in his hand belonged to Ma Huyang, and the other one needed to be used to concoct pills for Zuna. The last drop was necessary for him to cultivate the profound martial arts. It seemed like he didn't have any spare time to give it to Lindao. Seeing Xiaoyan frown, Ma Huyang seemed to have noticed it. He said softly, "I only need the essence of the silver moon outside. That drop of blood essence, give it to Lindao." Xiaoyan was delighted when he heard this. He looked at Ma Huyang gratefully. After this storm, the two of them quickly became familiar with each other. While they were talking, the battle between Lindao and Suxing became more intense. The sky and earth were constantly roaring and exploding. At this moment, it was as if Lindao was holding an azure dragon in his hand. The azure dragon gently tapped the blue sky, and the dragon's roar echoed in their ears. It had completely suppressed Suxing and Shuli's attack, causing the two of them to complain incessantly. Xiaoyan fixed his eyes on it. Jukan seemed to have said before that Lindao's heavenly weapon was ranked at the top among all the students who had heavenly weapons in the past. As the great fortune Lindao had obtained in the illusory spirit space, it was obvious that Lindao's heavenly weapon was far more powerful than any ordinary heavenly weapon. The azure dragon roared furiously, absorbing the origin monic key between the heavens and the earth. The monic skill of the heavenly weapon was automatically unleashed, like a dragon's roar. It caused the void to tremble slightly. Suxing's broken back saber brother, Shuli's huge axe was considered one of the stronger spirit weapons. However, in front of the Imperial Dragon Point blue spear, it was not even half as powerful as it was when it was at its peak. The suppression of a heavenly weapon was very obvious at this moment. Along with a faintly discernible dragon roar, Lindao's expression was cold. The tip of his spear was flickering with a spiritual light. Taking advantage of Shuli's carelessness, he pierced through the latter's chest like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, blood stained the sky. A solemn expression appeared on Mehuang's face when he saw Lindao's attack. Lindao's strength had already reached the third Monarch Emperor and was only a little weaker than him. However, the heavenly weapon in his hand was a heavenly net sword that was slightly stronger than his. In this way, the stronger one was, the weaker one would be. It was really hard to say. The two of them were still killed by Lindao even though they had joined hands. Suxing's expression became even more bitter and cold. Both of his eyes were red as he stared at Lindao. Due to his fury, his entire body trembled slightly. He had also reached the strength of 5 Monarch Emperor, but compared to this fellow in front of him, he was actually so weak. Taking advantage of the moment when Lindao shook off Shuli's corpse, Suxing suddenly turned around and rushed in another direction. Facing this monstrous genius, his fear had finally won over his rationality, and he fled frantically. Seeing that Suxing had disappeared in an instant, Mehuang let out a light breath and mumbled, "It's over." Lindao let out a cold snort as soon as his voice faded. Like a dragon swimming in the sky, he turned around and rushed towards the place where Suxing had fled. What a fast speed! When he came with me just now, he was still holding back. Seeing Lindao's speed, Wuxiaoqi's face turned bitter and said with slight disappointment. Her speed had always been something she was proud of. She never thought that she would be able to obtain the inheritance of Flame Lord. Hong Long. This is his movement technique. He obtained it along with the Imperial Dragon Point Blue Spear in illusory spirit space. It's called Dian Kangshan. There are a total of 7 stages. Lindao has only cultivated it to the 4th stage. Mehuang faintly looked at Wuxiaoqi and smiled. Lindao's movement technique was something that even he was envious of. The 4th stage has this kind of speed. Cultivating to the 7th stage is as easy as moving your body. Xiaoyan also exclaimed. Compared to Lindao's movement technique, his 9-wind rotation was a bit inferior. It seemed like he needed to find a suitable movement technique, the Monarch skill. Although the first style of the White Tiger arts, the White Tiger Spirit Sealing Flash, could also increase his speed by leaps and bounds. However, it would only take him a few moments to escape. After making up his mind, Xiaoyan focused his attention on the 3 drops of blood essence. He took out the blood essence. In an instant, the origin key in this world began to surge violently, as if it had received a tremendous fluctuation. The faint silver substance outside is the essence of the silver moon, and it's also what I need this time. He received a drop of blood essence from Xiaoyan. Mehuang took a look and put it away. He didn't ask why Xiaoyan wanted 2 drops. Wuxiaoqi also looked at it curiously. She could not help but be shocked when she sensed the power contained on it. Then she curled her lips and rolled her big eyes. The strength that Lindao displayed today had completely shocked her. It had also allowed her to witness what a true expert was. She had made up her mind. After returning, she would cultivate honestly and fully comprehend the inheritance. While they were talking, Lindao carried a long spear on his shoulder and slowly stepped into the sky. There was a corpse at the tip of the spear. It was Suxing. Looking at Mehuang, Lindao suddenly revealed a smile. Mehuang, I saved you this time. Mehuang nodded silently. Although the two of them didn't talk much normally, they both regarded each other as their only competitor. Now that he had been saved by Lindao, the main point was to see the strength displayed by the latter. After shaking Suxing's corpse off the ground, Lindao turned his wrist. The light on the Imperial Dragon Point Blue Spear circulated and the blood on it instantly dissipated. He turned his head and looked in the direction of the dark golden beast. A trace of hesitation flashed across his eyes. I have a drop of blood essence here with Xiaoyan. I need the essence of the silver moon outside. The blood essence inside will be yours. Mahuyang narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice. Lindao didn't say anything. He looked down and nodded. Okay. Although the experts who had died were the top forces of their respective sects, their true treasures were all in their own sects. They didn't carry any treasures with them, which prevented them from being taken away by their enemies. After saying a few words, the few of them rushed towards the direction of the Yunlo Academy. Xiaoyan looked into the distance and a joy immediately surged into his eyes. The longing in his heart also rapidly expanded. This way, Zuna would be able to wake up very quickly. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.